So here's a time lapse of my Lego City storm drain. First off, let me apologize for a couple things. One, this portrait mode, I promise this will switch to landscape in just a minute. Number two, I didn't really think I was going to film this whole entire thing, so I actually don't have this from start to finish, but here's what I do have. So the first scene was just me setting up the gate that goes behind the tunnel. And here you can see I've already pretty much completed the trail on the right hand side, but now I'm going in and starting to lay all the underlying plates for the river. Because I didn't build this in the studio or anything, I think that's the reason why I didn't film a time lapse of doing the trail to the right, just because there was so much trial and error involved. Nevertheless, I got some of it. So I'm going in, adding some of the trans clear blue tiles for the river, and you'll actually see later in the video, the finished product, I went back and swapped these out for some of the trans black or brown, just because I thought it gave the water a little bit more of a dirty look. But once I had an idea of the size I wanted the water area to be, I went back in and started framing in some of the shoreline. Then another focal point that I wanted to have in this was this big tree. This is just made up of 6 of the Lego tubing pieces, and then you just slide the bigger leaf elements down on top of that, and then I stacked the smaller leaf elements on the top and bottom to give it a more full look. Sorry the camera didn't focus on the right point in this video, but once I had those done, I could kind of work around the base of the tree, plating everything off in the green color, finishing up the shoreline on this side, and then rather than leaving just green plate on the left hand side, I went in and added some of the smaller green leaf or branch elements to give it just a little bit more fuller look. And I actually added some of the little 3-stem plant pieces inside of those, just to fill things up a little bit more. And then adding some little rock details with some tiles on the right hand side. Speaking of rock work, did a really small rock wall right here. This was a little tricky for me to do just because of the angle of the wall that was right here next to this. Now, this next technique coming up with this netting is a way that you can build landscaping with a little bit more flexibility to it, and I wanted to put this over on the left-hand side because I didn't want to stack a bunch of plates here and wanted to have the slope look a little bit different. So once I got that in place, I could go back in and kind of add the bricks on the backside. I put a few more rocks up here, but didn't want to put too many. And then I could go back in and add some of that more filler type of vegetation to cover any open spots and to make it look a little bit more lush. Again, just using the 3-stem leaf elements or 3-stem branch pieces. Thankfully, I had a lot of these because I was lucky enough to find them on the pad wall. And that pretty much wraps it up. I did miss filming this gate here on the right hand side and a couple other little details, but here I've placed some minifigs, and this kind of gives you an overview of what the finished product looks like.